This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
这是我.
This is me.
This is me.
And this is us.
Hey guys, and welcome to the first episode of This Is Us on Blind Justice, the way I see it. So for those of you who may not know a lot about This Is Us, it's an opportunity for me to interview some of the people who are in the blind community so they can tell you a little bit about what they do and a little bit about their journey and hopefully give you a little bit of insight into their life. So up first, I have Rashad Jones. Rashad, say hey to the people.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
So for those of you guys who may not know, when I first started this page, Rashad was actually one of the first people that I interviewed. Now, Rashad, I don't know if you remember this interview, but I actually went up to his place of employment, Access to Independence, which is a advocacy company for those who are disabled, and they're actually employed by disabled people. And this actually is a company that actually works in Columbus, Georgia, which is about an hour and a half south of Atlanta. But we'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, Rashad, like always, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, as Dominic said already, I am Rashad Jones, the one and only, for better or for worse. I'm 30 years old. I live in my hometown of Columbus, Georgia at this present moment. I have so my whole life. And basically, I love my family. I love the Lord. I love hanging out with people, and I love helping people.
Okay.
So that's if I had to sum up myself in any type of order, I would say that.
Okay.
Spending time.
Okay. So, what is actually the nature of your sight loss, and how long have you been dealing with it?
Well, I was born prematurely. I was born at 5.5 months, so I have something called retinopathy of prematurity, which just means that during the time when I was born, there was some retinal detachments. Because I was so underdeveloped, I had to be placed in an incubator for oxygen, and sometimes the different oxygen levels fluctuated up and down, so that meant that there was some retinal detachment. I think they did do a surgery to try to reattach them as best they could. So as a result of that, I have some sight in my right eye, but it's not very detailed at all. I can usually see people, I can see objects, but not really make them out in any sort of detail. I can see bright color contrasts, but sometimes I actually wonder how much of that I still have. I'm a little more iffy about the details and things like that these days. But I just use what I have to make it all work.
Okay, cool.
And a lifelong disability in life.
Okay. Well, to get down to the conversation, like we always do, my first matter of business is, like I stated earlier, you guys, the first time that I actually met Rashad was through a company called Access to Independence. So I was going to ask Rashad if you can give us a little bit of information about that and what all they do for the community.
Okay. Well, Access to Independence, as Dominic said earlier, is a local nonprofit organization for people with disabilities, run by people with disabilities. And we exist as part of a nationwide network of Centers for Independent Living, also called CILS. These were started by a man named Ed Roberts, who had polio and was severely and profoundly disabled. He was unable to do anything for himself because he had become paralyzed. And so after thinking about taking his own life, he one day decided that he wanted to do something different. He actually wanted to live. He decided that he wanted to make something of his life. So he basically set about graduating from high school. Then he fought to go to college. He did that. They thought that he was too disabled and wouldn't be able to do it, but he found a way. He was put in something called an iron lung, which is an 800-pound device that allowed, that he had to be in. But on the hours when he had to go to class, he taught himself with frog breathing, which allowed him to take in little gasps of air at a time, and he was able to stay out of the iron lung for hours at a time to go to classes, which really was the catalyst for Centers for Independent Living. He decided with others that the people with disabilities should be the ones who decide how they're helped and how they're taken care of if that is a need. And so that's where it really all began in Berkeley, California. But really what I love about that story is if you or I have a disability or even someone who doesn't have a disability, we can come up with excuses all day for why we don't do something. But you look at somebody like Ed Roberts, who was profoundly disabled, yet he decided to make something of his life, and so can we. Exactly.
Yeah. And that's so important to hear because, like you said, it's one of those things where even like the social perception of people with disabilities is, okay, well, now you're disabled, so your life is over, and, go ahead and start preparing yourself to, not do anything. And so it's always inspiring to hear so many stories, especially something like that, to really just kind of bring it home to you that you can really do anything you put your mind to.
Absolutely. And so if I could just really quickly continue, because I didn't really get a chance to tell everybody about...
Oh, yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. I interrupted in a second. My bad.
No, you didn't. That was great. Things that we were able to connect on, and we agree.
Right.
But in that same vein, in that same spirit, what we do at Access to Independence and at your local Centers for Independent Living around the country is we work with an individual, let's say anybody who has any type of disability, any age, so we don't discriminate, anything like that. So let's say you want to come in and you want to, let's say, learn how to use the screen reading software JAWS, Java Access with Windows, what that really stands for. So what you do is you'll set up an appointment with a peer supporter, that's someone like myself, and I'll say, okay, we got to sit down. I'll get to know who you are, ask you a few questions. You'll sign our opening paperwork if you're interested in our services, and we'll work on teaching you how to read, how to use your computer, basic things like that. If you are someone who wants to learn how to read Braille, that's something, that we do, and we do this on a one-on-one basis. So that's peer support, that's life skills training, that's part of that. Another thing that we do is we help get people out of nursing homes and facilities like that. So in order to qualify for that program, I think the individual has to have been in the nursing home for 30 days.
Okay.
And then, express a desire to get out. And so if you have a place, maybe your relatives are willing to help you out, and, maybe you can stay with them. So we help you transition out of the nursing home. Or if you want to look for an apartment, or want to move into just somewhere else that is least restrictive, we can help with that. We even help through funding provide everything that a person would need. Let's say if they were going to be in an apartment, we would provide their bed, their furniture, their food, all of these things for a month. We do it for a month.
Mm-hmm.
We get all of those things, your bills and things cut on. So we get you started. But after that, you're the one who has to take care of everything. You're on the program for a year, but it's really about you being self-directed enough, having the resources in place, having the skills in place to make that happen. So we do a variety of different things, and as you'll find around the country, different centers provide similar services in different ways. Really quickly, another thing that I do and I'm proud of is the Road to Independence, which is a life skills curriculum that I help. I am actually the teacher for that program and the team lead for that, where we go into the schools and we work with students who have disabilities, and we teach them basic introductory life skills that they'll need to be successful in their life, and talk to them about setting and achieving goals, because that's what it's about.
Okay.
One another.
Okay. So I know you said that there's a lot of other how did you refer to them at the center? Say it one more time.
Centers?
Yeah.
Those SILs.
Okay, yeah. So I'm assuming that there's different centers around the nation, or?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So you can just look up Centers for Independent Living or CILNET, CILNET.com. and you'll be able to find it.
Okay. So yeah, okay. You just gave us a lot of information, so that's good to kind of work with. I also know that you are a member of the National Federation of the Blind, the Fountain City chapter.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I am a part of the National Federation of the Blind Fountain City chapter. They somehow have voted me to be the second vice president. So, no, first vice president. Anyway, the point is, quarantine life. So my hours and scheduling as far as sleep and things are off. So I just woke up.
Yeah.
I'm not the vice president. I'm the one right after that vice president.
Okay. Got you.
Anyway, and I think it's so important to be a part of that organization because it's the largest organization of blind people, for sure, in the country. And again, it's about working with people so that you can live the life that you want to live. We know at the National Federation of the Blind that blindness is not the characteristic that holds you back, but it's attitudes and low expectations of others which prevent you and hinder you from achieving the most that you can out of your life. So we work very hard to dispel those myths and help others and help the individuals who are blind or visually impaired see that you can actually make something and do something with your life.
Okay.
So, trying to get Parker to join in on the fun.
This interview is not about me, sir. It's all about you. But okay, so for those who would be interested in joining the NFB, what would they do, or how would they go about that?
Well, of course, during this challenging, very difficult and challenging time of staying socially distanced and the era of COVID-19, I suspect that a lot of places aren't doing things in person, but your place, your locality may have some small gatherings. So I would encourage anyone interested to visit NFB, which stands for the National Federation of the Blind.org. And there you'll find information about your state. For instance, ours is nfbga.org. And then that will give you contact information for your local chapter. So it's affiliate level and then chapter level.
Got you.
Become involved that way.
Okay, interesting. Well, look, so I can't end the interview without going ahead and talking about your run as a champion for season 1 of the Blind Lounge Talent Show. So, yeah, you guys, for those of you guys who may not know,
oh dear.
I was actually over a talent show. And Rashad actually participated in season 1, and you guys are actually looking at or listening to the season 1 winner of the Blind Lounge Talent Show. So what was it like putting yourself out there and singing and ultimately winning the first season and holding that title?
Well, I was really, at first I didn't really know what it would all entail. I thought it was like the school talent show, where you practice and then, one night you get up on stage and you sing or you play. They announce the first, second, third place winner, bam, go home. Coincidentally, I had never won a talent show. And so I thought it would just be something like that. But the thing is, it was much more involved. And at first I was like, you mean I have to do like a different video every week? So, for those of you who know Dominic Parker, you know that he is a taskmaster. And he will stop nothing to make sure you get done what you're supposed to have done. And so I think that's a great yet stressful combination of characteristics.
Yeah.
Anyway, so as I progressed and as time went on and as I submitted my videos, it became something that I was very intrigued by, the level of self-improvement. I wasn't even focused on everybody else. I was happy to see and really thrilled to know what everybody would bring to the table, but it wasn't like I've got to beat this person. Right. However, it was like I got to make sure that I perfect my craft and do even better. Let's see how I can make this come to life in the span of like 2 days.
Right.
So it was a great thing, and I was happy to participate in that, and was very fortunate to have won that first season.
Okay, so I'm bringing it back here in the near future. So if you could give any advice to participants going forward in the future, what would you tell them?
I would say make sure that you're focused on you. Don't worry so much about what the other people are doing. For me, what has worked is admiring the work that the other contestants have done and are putting forth, and really learning from each person's performance and learning from your own performance, and really stepping out of your comfort zone, because I think a lot of us have specific styles of music that we enjoy and that we excel in, and then others maybe a bit of a stretch. For me, I'm an avid Mariah Carey fan.
Okay.
So, having to step outside of that range and perform music by other people, really interesting. But again, it really does force you to develop your own artistry, and I think that's so important, because people don't necessarily, when they click on my videos, they don't necessarily want to hear Mariah Carey. They want to hear Rashad. So,
right, yeah.
I can present my own work, and yet you'll still know that I'm a big Mariah Carey fan.
Okay.
So, it definitely works out.
So definitely a lamb in the house. We were definitely talking to a lamb.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Lamb for life. That's it.
So okay, Rashad. So as we get ready to close this out, if the people want to get in contact with you, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
The best way to get in contact with me would definitely, on an introductory level like this, would be through Facebook. I'm always on Facebook.
Okay.
If you're somebody who just has any questions about anything that I've talked about, or want to know more about me, you can contact me. I'm Rashad, Rashad. My middle initial A, period, and then last name is Jones, Jones. You will find me there, and we can connect from there.
Okay. Well, thank you, sir, for this sit-down interview. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no, thank you very much. It was great to be able to talk with you and to share some information.
All right. Well, you guys, we will be hollering at you next time. You guys take it easy.
Later.
Hey, guys. This is Dominic, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in to some more of my content. But if you haven't done so already, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my Facebook page, Blind Justice. See you guys on the next go-round.